Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Declan. If you enjoy talking about movies whatsoever, you're going to feel right at home here. If you enjoy this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload from me. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a series of quickie reviews because I've been really busy lately and I've not had time to review some films that I've seen recently. So I want to just chuck them all in this one video. Obviously, I'm not on camera this time. It's going to be a little bit different than what you normally get here. But this is just a series of quickie reviews where I'm going to be talking about some films that I've seen over the last month or so, which I have not had time to review. So with all that said, let's jump into it. So I'll kick off with Gemini Man. Now this film has been a long time coming. It's been in development ever since the late 90s. We've had so many different directors, so many different stars, and you can tell that this movie has been in development hell for all of these years. This was a really terrible screenplay, an awful story, which really led to having a horrific script, which had so much heavy exposition and really awkward humor, and it's a film that just doesn't work because I feel like this movie has a very good concept, something that's not exactly particularly original, but definitely one that we could definitely get a lot of good stories with, but it just has such a terrible screenplay and such a poor script that everything surrounding it completely falls apart. The action is okay. I feel like there are certain scenes that are better than others. Like there's a particular scene that is like a fight in these catacombs. That scene actually has a lot of good fight scene qualities to it. The camera doesn't cut very much. It's actually a very well directed fight scene, but the lighting in that scene is so dark that you can't even see what's going on. And then there's a motorcycle chase at the beginning, which started off good and exciting, but in the end kind of fell apart as well. And I feel like that without Will Smith, this movie really would have nothing. And I feel like this film had so much potential going in. Ang Lee is such a talented director at times, but recently he's just not been able to capture that magic, and Gemini Man was exactly that case. And unfortunately, it just came across as an extremely bad movie, and I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. Next, Zombieland Double Tap. This is, of course, the long-awaited sequel to the original Zombieland. Now, I'm not a huge lover of the original Zombieland. I think the movie's good, but I don't have a lot of, really embedded nostalgia for the film like a lot of people do. So I went into this just kind of, expecting it to be a fun sequel, and that's exactly what this movie was. This movie was just a very fun, very by-the-numbers sequel. I don't think the movie is as good as the original, but I feel like it's basically on the same level. I think Zombieland Double Tap was a nice but forgettable follow-up. While the film's heart is in the right place, the constant callbacks felt distracting to the point that the charm of the original gets lost. I think that the way the film introduces a lot of different elements, such as the rules, which were introduced in the first movie, they are put in this movie in a way that really comes across as distracting, and I didn't appreciate how it was handled. I feel like if this was a different director, I kind of would have understood maybe the different feel, but the fact that Ruben Fleischer came back to direct this film, it feels strange that it was handled in such a worse way when he was the one who handled it originally. The cast is good, but I feel like the cast is also kind of expendable. I don't really enjoy what they brought to the film, because someone like Emma Stone, who I never expected to come back for this film, honestly, I have never really seen a performance like this from her where she's almost half-arsing it. And then I think Woody Harrelson does do his best here, but again, a very over-the-top performance from him, which is a bit more over-the-top than the first film. Jesse Eisenberg is basically just Jesse Eisenberg, and Abigail Breslin is barely in the movie. So yeah, this film, its heart is in the right place, but it just doesn't do it well enough to the point where it comes across as successful to me. But this film does give us Zoe Deutsch and Rosario Dawson, who both equally steal the film. They are both fantastic here, and I loved their characters and their performances, and I feel like that they are definitely the highlights of Zombieland 2, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Then we have Official Secrets, which is based on a true story about a whistleblower in the British government who was able to expose a voting event which was said to basically turn the tides of the voting scheme on the Iraq War. This movie I went into with some very lowered expectations just because I felt like this film didn't look particularly too exciting. It also had Keira Knightley, who, personally, I'm not a huge fan of Keira Knightley. I don't think she's that great of an actress. But this movie was not a period piece, so I was hoping that Keira Knightley was able to do something a bit different here. And overall, Official Secrets was an interesting watch. I think the story of this was rather incredible, and the events that unfolded were quite extraordinary. While the film is a bit too long and slow-paced, it wasn't so to the point that it was boring or uninteresting. I feel like that this film had a hook to it. It had a edge to it that actually made me that kept me engaged throughout the entire film. I feel like Matt Smith and his character, I feel like, his angle with the journalism storyline was really fun. I really like a good journalism storyline in a film, and I feel like this one had a good one. Also, Ray Fiennes, I think, is really good as the lawyer here. And Keira Knightley did actually surprise me here because she actually delivered a good performance. It's nothing, mind-blowing. It's not like an Oscar-worthy performance or anything like that, but it was a good performance and not one that felt lazy like she has done recently in a lot of her period piece-esque films. Official Secrets, for me, it was a bit of a surprise. Again, I didn't really care too much for this film going into it, but I came out expecting it to be, worse than it was. And I feel like this film, it was a good watch. Don't know if I'll ever watch it again, but it was a good watch and a good story nonetheless. And finally, we have Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Now, I saw the first Maleficent just before seeing the second one. And for me, the first one is a movie I didn't really like all that much. But that's just purely because it's not really a movie for me. It's not really my kind of style, what I typically like and things like that. It's just not really my kind of movie. But I went into the sequel expecting it to be basically the same. And for me, I think that Maleficent 2... was a significant downgrade. Now again, I don't particularly love the first movie, but I think the first movie was actually okay. This one was just so incredibly poor. The film came across as a big downgrade in every aspect from the first film. I'm talking about the camera work, I'm talking about the script, I'm talking about the cinematography in particular. The cinematography is really good in the first Maleficent. Here, terrible. Also, the color grading and the colors used, the first Maleficent is a really bright and colorful movie. This one's really dark and really dim, and I didn't appreciate that. Angelina in this is great, just like she was in the first movie, but she's barely in this film. And that's really strange. That was a really strange choice for me. Like, for a movie called Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, you would expect Maleficent to be in this movie a lot more, but she's kind of more of a side character, and the main character more becomes Elle Fanning's Aurora, who is focusing on her storyline. And it was a strange choice for me to kind of take Maleficent, who is such an iconic character, really, at this point, even though the movies aren't particularly that well known. She's such, like, an iconic-looking character, so to take her and put her in the side was kind of strange, especially because her story was by far the more interesting of the two. While the big final battle is really good in this movie, I like that battle in the end, I thought that was entertaining, it's not enough to hold this movie back and to save it. And for me, I really was not a fan of this. I found it really boring and slow, and I feel like that this film is a significant downgrade from the first, and I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. So thank you guys for tuning in to this quickie reviews here on my channel. If you have your thoughts on these films, make sure you let me know them in the comment section down below. And also, I apologize for not being able to do individual reviews for all of these movies. It's just time completely escaped me. I've been very, very busy at the moment, so it's been hard for me to make as many reviews. But, now I'm completely caught up. Hopefully, we'll be able to do some more things like this and some more cool videos coming up. I'm also going to be doing a new gaming video coming up soon with my review for the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I'll be doing a review for that, so make sure you stay tuned for that as well. And if you want to see more movie reviews and movie-related videos just like this one, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I hope to see you guys again next time.